closer in time.
The current planned production of the second-generation Tesla Roadster, succeeding the original Tesla Roadster, itself a speed beast manufactured from 2008 to 2012, the second-generation Roadster, showcased in 2017 with even more staggering specs than its predecessor, is currently slated for production near the end of 2024. The first electric vehicle. As with much innovation, isolating the first of something can often be both elusive and subjective. Looking back through the historical lens of electrically powered automobiles, we find, to offer some examples, the original Tesla Roadster, of course, the General Motors EV1, even the NASA moon rovers. They were electric vehicles after all. Around and before the time of the moon landings, we find an enthusiastic spate of terrestrial designs that wonderfully span the usually impassable divide between style and satire. If we look even further back, we find the so-called golden age of electric cars. The Edgar Lohner C2 Phaeton, sometimes referred to as the Porsche P1, William Morrison's six-seater, Thomas Parker's EV, commonly recognized as the first production electric vehicle, the creation of William Ayrton and John Perry, and that of Gustave Trouve. But none of these qualify as the first. These relics from the Golden Age were actually the progeny of even earlier electric vehicles. Even the earliest of these aforementioned vehicles made use of rechargeable batteries, which were invented about 2 decades prior. Over 80 years before the inventions of Ayrton, Perry, and Trouve, Alessandro Volta developed the so-named voltaic pile, a practical, potentially powerful, albeit non-rechargeable battery. A couple decades after the appearance of Volta's battery, Anyos Jedlik was fashioning fairly efficient electric motors and even built an electrically powered miniature car. While there is some historical disagreement, credit for the first EV goes to Scottish inventor Robert Davidson, who about a decade after Jedlik's work showcased a crude but functioning electrically powered two-seater carriage. The original recording of Glenn Miller's composition, Annie's Cousin Fanny. In a span of only 4 years during the peak of his career, big band legend Glenn Miller scored a staggering 59 top 10 hits, making him one of the most prolific and successful musicians of all time. A few years prior, while he was laying down compositions for the Dorsey Brothers, Glenn Miller wrote Annie's Cousin Fanny.
A gentleman with a top hat asked Annie for a date. He said, "I'll bring a friend for Fanny, meet us at 8." They drove out in the woods where they could be alone, and Annie's cousin Fanny is still walking home.
I'll be darned if that ain't some sort of rap happening right there. The prospective production of Tesla's second-generation Roadster is closer in time to the original recording of Glenn Miller's Annie's Cousin Fanny than the recording was to the first electric car by about 4 years. The Ford Model T and the General Motors EV1. Famously known for being the first mass-produced just about anything and tallying over 15 million units sold, a record for the most sold car in history that went unsurpassed for over 40 years of subsequent worldwide auto manufacture, the Ford Model T in several body types was produced over a span of 20 years, including the years of World War I. Traditionally at the time, complex machinery and fabrications were built by handcraft, a one-unit-at-a-time approach that could only be carried out by workers each possessing both generalist and specialist skills. The method of mass production increased output and decreased cost, making the Model T accessible to the middle class. Produced and distributed for 4 years with a model year redesign for its final production year, the General Motors EV1 is regarded as the first modern, dedicated, and mass-produced EV from a major auto manufacturer. The impetus for the EV1's manufacture was spawned in part by the wide enthusiasm received by the Impact, a concept car showcased by GM 6 years prior, and after which the EV1 was closely fashioned. GM delivered a total of 1,117 EV1s to drivers, all exclusively under lease. Despite engendering considerable loyalty with its customers, including celebrity endorsements, some of them firsthand, General Motors stopped EV1 production and terminated leases, ultimately recalling and destroying most of the cars. The GM EV1 is closer in time to the Model T than the first assembly line Model T was to the very first electric vehicle. By about 4 years.